Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Gaming Garnish podcast, a side dish to this hobby we all call gaming. Today, I'm joined by Jake.
Hello.
Brad.
Hello.
Ben.
Hello.
I'm your host, Joe. I'd like to start with a listener question. This one comes from Simon. It goes, "Hey folks, what are some genres we rarely see in modern games that you would like to see? For example, real-time strategy, we've had very few in the last few years. For me, it's 3D platformers. I miss there being dozens of janky platforming heroes in the 90s and early 2000s. Are there any other dead genres that we've missed?"
To be fair, just to jump off Simon's question, both 3D platformers and RTSs were like my jam
They were.
back when I first started getting into gaming.
Yeah.
So it is a real shame that they've kind of like, they're not fully gone away because we've just seen Astrobot.
Yeah, and there has been some RTSs this year, but they're definitely not at the forefront like they used to be.
Yes, definitely.
And
I have a theory about that. I think those games were due to hardware limitations. Because you could, on real-time strategies, you didn't have to get in there with fancy 3D graphics because it was all top-down view.
Zoomed out, And you took it in turns, so it wasn't like when things were going on, you weren't like controlling it so much.
Well, you are.
Yeah, and a lot could happen off-screen that you wouldn't even realise.
You're not, as Joe says, you're not in the action for one. You're not zoomed in, but you're not. I don't know. Like it's a lot of just animations playing out. You control what animations are going to play out, but it's
isn't it all got like I'm thinking about Age of Empires on the whole map? Say if you had like 8 players, is it not all going on at the same time?
Yeah, but it's not all being rendered on your screen simultaneously.
I think it's more of a processor, like CPU. Type of game.
Well, it's quite funny you mentioned that as well, because the original Crash Bandicoot and its like sequels on the PS1 were quite marvels of like gaming engineering back in the day. And they really got the most out of the PS1. If you watch some videos on it, it's quite interesting to see how they've like tricked the system almost.
Yeah, I think
into working.
That. I think one thing that's pretty like worth bearing in mind is your 3D platformers were predominantly like controller based or like console games.
Yeah.
Whereas your RTSs were always historically PC games.
Yes. There are very few on consoles.
Yeah. And I think that has kind of carried on as well. So like we're not particularly PC orientated gamers. I don't know whether Simon is. But I think there's a lot of RTSs at the moment coming out just on PC that you don't have as much mainstream cut through.
Now that you say it, I agree. I've noticed that and not really overthought it.
And also the genre of RTS has expanded quite a lot. So I think even things, I would even say like City Skylines type games are kind of like a real-time strategy. You're not building an army to attack another army.
It's more survival, I would say. But again, I get what you mean.
It's like an evolution of that formula. I think they are very popular on PC, but you don't get a lot on console. Now, whether that's something console gamers want, I don't know. But
you know what I miss?
Go on.
Abe's Odyssey.
Oh, yeah. Side-scrolling platformers, only Mario's really keeping that going, and Prince of Persia.
There's a lot in the indie space.
But mainstream games are like kind of falling off that trajectory, aren't they?
So maybe that's a good one. Yeah, AAA sort of like side-scrolly type games.
I feel like the indies kind of like bringing some of that stuff back. I don't know why it's fallen off like the main like AAA gaming.
It's always look at what I can do on your AAAs, though, isn't it?
It is.
It's
all very like, look how good it looks.
Look how online we are.
Oh God! Yeah.
Look how much your wallet is emptying.
Buy more of this.
I don't know what. I think to me, what I'm just disappointed doesn't exist as much anymore is games where you unlock like skins for free.
Yeah.
You know,
achievement-based skins.
See that.
Not so much like genres itself, but like sub activities within games have gone away. Like the best example I can think of in recent memory is Spider-Man, where everything you can unlock. And that feels great because you're always unlocking skins. But any other developer, you'd have paid for all those skins.
Oh yeah,
even in single-player games.
Yeah.
So I think the genre I miss the most is exclusively single-player games with no predatory microtransactions.
Very specific, but agreed. I can't think of anything other than the two Simon suggested, which are close to my heart as is. I can't think of anything I would add to that that's missing. Guys, any more?
I think the stealth genre's kind of died.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
That is a good one.
thinking.
Because like Assassin's Creed used to be about stealthing it.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed
But
killed
now
it
you
off.
can just go in there, sword swinging, guns blazing, have a
I think-
cannon in your arm.
Splinter Cell as well. When was the last time I saw something like
I
that?
think I saw something the other day that sort of alluded to maybe the reason stealth genre has gone away. And it's a lot of games these days are like open world games for one.
Yeah.
And that doesn't tend to lend itself to stealth.
Oh, I
But-
don't know about that.
Well, most games like that implement stealth,
yeah.
you tend to be disadvantaged for using it because your XP is always tied to the amount of kills you get. Or the amount of things you've explored and found. Whereas stealth, inherently, you don't want to explore everywhere because you're just going to get caught. So you want to find the route where you can bypass enemies without going in every single room.
It's interesting because the original Assassin's Creed were all about stealth.
Yeah.
But you didn't really earn XP from killing people. And it was open world.
Yeah.
But they
were never
moved away from it.
I think people misremember the early Assassin's Creeds. I don't think they were that stealthy.
I remember my thumb hovering over the X to counter button a lot.
Yeah.
Yes,
they were more.
that's true.
Yeah. There was a few
Getting
stealthy
mobbed
bits.
and then
They weren't stealthy the way I played.
It was a big deal in Unity. I remember that they added like a crouch button or something like that, so you can actually hide in stuff. So I don't think they were as stealthy as people remember them. But things like Splinter Cell, obviously, that was a stealth.
And Hitman as well.
And Hitman, yeah, and Hitman's still
going at least.
yeah. But for the most part, I do think stealth is underserved, and when it is served, it's served amongst loads of other mechanics. Where stealth becomes the worst playthrough.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Brad, because I want to bring your attention to a little-known game called Cyberpunk 2077, where stealth gameplay is the most rewarding gameplay.
Well, that's good
because you get XP for putting bodies in dumpsters.
Yes,
hiding
and that's how they should do it. Where you use stealth. And then you gain stealth abilities by doing that. Whereas usually you've got loads of abilities to unlock. A few of them are stealth based, but you don't gain XP for doing stealth. So
you can just basically blow someone's head up from stealth.
Yeah, I mean you can.
Yeah,
but that's not stealthy.
No,
if you do it with a knife, it's stealthy.
Yeah,
you can throw a knife and the head will blow up, but that doesn't make any noise.
I'll tell you what I do miss as well. Oh, go on, Ben.
More simulators. I don't care if there's lots of simulators.
No, definitely.
That's what you're saying. It is. It's dying. There's not enough. If they can implement a shotgun as well, I'm good with it.
That's like the Lazarus of genres. Dies and comes back every single year.
Yes!
Month. It's more like
every month.
I just miss the old school sort of like 360 games where AA games have come out. I think that's
AA, yes.
Yeah. But sometimes people try it and it doesn't go down.
AA games these days tend to be too janky.
Yeah,
they bite off a bit more than they can chew, and they end up being more janky. I wish they would tone them back and just achieve what they can achieve.
Yeah, like that Evil West was good.
Yeah,
but it was too janky. Yeah, for what it is. But hey ho. But Ghost Runner, I love that. That's probably AA. I would say that.
But it's a good question.
Very good question.
That was a good opener, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for writing in. And anyone else who wants to write a question in, please do. We love answering them. If we get enough, we'll have to do a whole episode.
Well, we've done that once before.
We'll
yes, Q&A. Was that this year or last year?
This year.
So merging.
How time flies. Well, now we've answered Simon's question. I'd like to know what you've all been playing. I'm going to start with you, Ben.
Oh.
Mine's going to be short.
That's all right.
Factorio.
How many accounts have you got going on the same time now?
Currently on my main game, I'm at 105 hours.
Jeez.
Wow. I remember you sent us that screenshot where it looked like it said 109 hours yesterday.
Like yesterday, yeah.
How long have you been playing it now? A month?
A month, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Just to put it into perspective, I was talking about Final Fantasy VII the last episode, wasn't I? I put 90-something hours into that, and 92 or something.
3 months?
That took me 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't put it down.
And Ben's the one with a child.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with Factorio, you can do it anywhere, can't you?
True.
Well, I can just leave it running while I have to nip off and do that.
So those 100 and odd hours, you're not
on
necessarily
active hours.
Sat down.
Majority I am.
Yeah.
But I'll run off and make a brew, or I'll nip off and I don't know, pull the child's head out of a radiator. Who knows what she's doing? You know, like
out of a conveyor belt.
Yeah, stop messing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. But there was a couple of little fantastic surprises that the game just gets better and better every time. I suddenly unlocked a tank that I wasn't expecting. Now I have a tank.
It defends your factory.
And I drive it around really well. I'm terrible. I destroy half of the things I own because of my tank. I just drive through the walls. I'm terrible.
That's what you're putting most of your time to rebuilding your factory.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely is.
It actually hasn't grown. It's just stayed the same size, grown over and over again.
Unlock logistic and construction bots, so I remove a lot of my belts now.
Yeah.
So the logistic bots just deliver things to places for me. It's great. And then I got artillery. Now, artillery is a real interesting one because you build the artillery gun and you supply it with the ammo, obviously, and it will just thump halfway across the map and destroy a base, but then the hordes of bugs run at where the artillery came from. Oh my God, I wasn't expecting. They destroyed me loads of times because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Stop attacking our home.
Yeah, so you destroy the home, and it's like when you destroy like an ant nest and
you
loads
poked
of
the bear.
Yeah, I did basically, and it just flooded
swarmed.
me.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's about it for me. I also got automated legs. It's like a exosuit type of thing for your bottom
I was thinking
half,
more like the wrong trousers.
you can run like twice as fast with them, which is great fun because I always forget I am actually a character.
I always forget that, to be fair, when you're telling us about it. You are a little guy running around.
Yeah, because I always thought it was like a top-down RTS style builder rather than...
It kind of is, isn't it? But you're playing as a character.
But you are a person.
Top-down view.
And it is the most frustrating part about it, in case you're wondering.
Kind of like
because
RTS.
Your character has to be near to place anything. And a lot of the time, it's just going, why can't I place this? There's nothing in its way. I can't. Why is it the guy's not near it.
So it's independent of the mouse.
Yeah, the frustration is it's annoying.
Yeah, I bet that's hard to get your head around, actually.
After 100
you just forget because you drift into what you're building.
Yeah.
But you just get enthralled in the fact that you need to get the logistics right of how you're building it and how it's going to work, and then forget there's a guy. Cool, but that was me anyway. I don't want to drone on about it because that'll be on for a long time.
The podcast must grow. All right, Brad, what about you next? Have you got a massive list for us this time?
So
yes.
Was it a couple of weeks ago? My partner went away for a weekend. She went Thursday night and she got back Sunday night. So I thought, this is my time. I'm going to play loads of games. I've got all these stuff I want to get through. I'm going to finish Death Stranding. I'm going to do all this. I had a couple of jobs I wanted to do around the house, but we just paint the skirting boards. But this was my main thing, play loads of games. Turns out it takes a lot longer to paint skirting boards.
Yes.
So I played precisely 0 games that whole weekend. Instead, I watched the entirety of Arcane Season 2, which is kind of gaming adjacent.
game-based.
Oh, definitely.
So I just wanted to shout that out and say that is fantastic.
Right. Well, no spoilers because I'm halfway through.
No spoilers, but it is fantastic. Season 1 was incredible. Season 2 is incredible.
Nice.
Couple of downsides. It felt a little bit rushed in places because this is the final season.
Yes,
so I felt like
I
felt like they wanted to just get to the end, but it was great. Once I was like absolutely shattered from painting all the skirtings, I could just sit down, watch a couple episodes, get back up, do a second coat, watch a few more episodes, go to bed. And that's pretty much all I did. I just had no mental energy to play any games. And then the weekend after, I don't think I really had much chance either. So I've not really got a lot to talk about.
Surprisingly short.
You don't have much luck when your partner goes away. Last time it was broken fingers. Now it's
exactly.
Now it's painting skirting boards.
Maybe next time. Tomorrow she's away, and I did start today Marvel Rivals because that came out on the day of recording. So I am planning on playing a lot of that tomorrow, but I've only just started it today, so I don't have much to say about it. But it's exactly like it looks. It's an Overwatch clone where you play as Marvel characters.
In third person.
In third person. There is shed loads of characters, way more than I thought there was.
No.
I think
like a Smash-style roster.
it's ridiculous. And you can I basically spent about an hour just cycling through the characters in the practice range, reading their abilities, and they're all pretty unique. Some ape a lot from Overwatch, but in unique ways, which is good. But it's going to take a long time to get to grips with all the characters. So I don't have much to say on it yet, but probably next episode I will hopefully have played a bit more.
Well, I've got it downloaded too, so we'll probably play it together a bit.
But that has been me. I played a bit more Death Stranding, but nothing else to say on that.
Nowhere near the end of that yet.
One of the characters did say we are halfway through, so I don't know whether it was
we're halfway through Act 1.
I don't know whether that was a metagame thing, saying telling me we're halfway through, or whether it was telling the character they're halfway through something else. But who knows? Who knows? And I'm near the end of Witcher, but again, it's kind of spoilers territory at this moment.
Yeah, so. I'm interested to hear about that when you're finished.
Yeah. So there, me, short and sweet.
Nice.
All right, Jake, it's your turn.
Well, I actually
was with more Final Fantasy.
Actually, now that Final Fantasy's done, I can actually play my backlog. I can actually play some games. I've had 10 games downloaded on my PlayStation, indie games to play when I've finished Final Fantasy. So I decided to pick up the Plucky Squire, which I was very excited about at the start of the year, knowing it was come out this year, and it's really cute. It's really charming. It's really good. It's not quite what I expected. It is in the sense of you're in a storybook. It's like a 2D puzzle game,
I think.
But then you pop out the book and you're in 3D, and then it becomes almost like a 3D puzzle game. I wouldn't quite say it's a 3D platformer. There's tiny bits of platforming, I suppose. It's more of a puzzler.
Well, I played it earlier in the year, didn't I? And I talked about it a little bit on here. And I think what you say there, you're right. It's exactly as it presents itself in the trailers, and kind of nothing more.
Yes.
Whereas you always expect there to be a little bit more from the trailers, but there just kind of wasn't, which is in a way to its detriment.
I can't quite put my finger on it. As I said, I really enjoyed it for what it was, but I just was expecting something more, and I can't put my finger on what.
Just didn't love it as much as
Mr. Pizzazz.
It's very you are either in the book or out of the book.
Yeah. It just could have been a bit more. They were very creative with a lot of it.
Yes, the word puzzles are really creative.
Yeah, but then they just got repetitive.
Yeah, changing words out is a good puzzle, but there's a lot of them. Yeah. And then there's loads of mini games as you go through it, which are kind of tied to the story, I suppose. But the problem, some repeat more than others. Yeah. Some of the fun ones, I really like the bow one.
Yeah, it was fine.
But most of the mini games are just fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're all pretty much you press one button,
and
that is the mini game. But you just press it in a different way, and it's fine. It just could have been a bit more. And I think things like the combat was fun, but there could have just been more. There's a point early on where it says, you need to go and get this bow and arrow, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to get a bow and arrow to use. But you literally just get it for one mini game, and that's it.
Oh, so it's not an extra weapon for combat?
No.
And then another one later, I think, with an axe, and it's always just things like that. I just wish it added to your repertoire, and it just
it's interesting, and it does a lot of fun stuff with the concept. I feel like it could have gone a bit further. You could have gone into other books, because it does allude to that. Like the enemy's gone into another book and brought stuff in, and I'm like, oh, that would have been really cool if you could go into other books. So there's a lot of ideas that they could do in a new.
I feel like if they did a sequel, it would be like the Uncharted 1.
Yeah.
And then Uncharted 2 is where it gets crazy and great. I feel like this could have one of those sequels.
Definitely.
It'd be great if the level select was on a bookshelf and you were going from book to book.
Just unique little things like that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I literally platinumed the game.
Oh, you finished it already?
Yeah, an hour before we started recording.
Oh, wow.
Now the platinum, if you're going for the platinum, just try and get everything in one playthrough, because the chapter select makes you play through whole chapters if you missed a collectible right at the end, let's say.
Oh, no.
And you're literally spamming through the text come on, go on.
When you know the puzzles, it'll be quick. But some of them are just a bit fiddly. Not necessarily fiddly, but it's you know what you do. It's quite easy. It's just a bit time intensive, labor intensive. Carrying this word to the other side of the page is just a bit of a ball ache.
Yeah, definitely. When you know what it is.
Yeah.
But I will preface that it is a really fun, cutesy, charming game. And if it's on your list to play, I'd definitely play it.
Definitely.
It's really good.
It's a good 7, 8 out of 10 game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's about 7 or 8 hours
Just hoped
of
it
playing.
was going to be 9.
Yeah, and I really like flicking through the pages and tilting the pages up to make things move around and stuff like that.
I feel like this would have been a really good VR experience if you could turn the pages with your
yourself.
hands.
Yeah. So you're like a god character looking down.
I remember there was a VR platformer, I think when the Quest first came out, where you were rotating what looked like dolls' houses and you were a character within, I think you were a mouse with a sword.
Oh,
is it called Mouse?
No, it's not. I know exactly what you mean. It's not called Mouse, so it's...
And that looked really fun.
That's going to annoy me.
Have you played it on your VR, Brad?
No, but I know exactly the game. They did a second one. It's called Moss.
That's
Moss.
It. That's it. Yeah.
Still close with Mouse.
Yeah. I just knew it had But yeah, it's a good game. Really charming. I'm glad I played it before the year ended. Anyway. Yeah. But that's been me. That's all I've been playing.
All right. Well, there's only me left then.
There is. We're shorter than usual.
Short and sweet. Yeah. I'm going to start my tale with a retail, actually. Where I work, every year we get a £50 voucher in lieu of a Christmas bonus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of them love to shop vouchers sort of things. And I thought, I'm going to split it this year and put some money on Nintendo and some money on Xbox. And just as I put the money in my Nintendo account, Black Friday sales came on. And I got Fire Emblem Engage. Which completely passed me by. I forgot it came out at all, but I was looking through the sales like, oh my God, there was another Fire Emblem game that I completely forgot about.
Was that the newest one? That's the newest one after Three Houses.
The character's got the blue and red hair and blue and red eyes. Yeah. It's so good.
Is it?
Good,
and I'm glad that I noticed it, because if I hadn't put them vouchers on, I wouldn't have ever thought to go and buy it. But have you ever seen or heard of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like, but
I've never watched it. But
there's one of the seasons has these things called stands, where it's like a spirit that fights alongside you. This game puts that in Fire Emblem. It's really good. Yeah. So heroes from the other older games, I think Marth's in it, Roy's in it.
Who's them from Smash Bros?
Yeah, basically. Lucina's in it as well. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, the whole Smash Bros crew.
You
Mario.
can put a ring on and then have that character fight with one of your other characters, and you can combine them in loads of different cool and fun ways.
I'd seen this one because I've never played a Fire Emblem, but it's always been on the periphery for me, where I've been like, I really want to give that a go.
Are they all turn-based strategies?
Yeah. Well, apart from the Warriors series, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's what puts me off. It's just not my type of game.
But they're not
certainly mine. Go on.
They're not like XCOM levels of difficulty.
Yeah.
You can make it that if you want to. You can put permadeath on, but I never do.
Yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
Because there's some characters that I just like to level up, and if they die in one thing and I've leveled them up 20 times, that's wasted investment. And I want to take them through to the end of the game. You don't want to
waste your time playing games.
Exactly. Yeah. And then start leveling up an entirely new person from scratch.
Definitely.
But I'm not even that far through it. I think I'm chapter 3. It's so much more concise than Three Houses, and I like that. Yeah. Three Houses had this thing where you got to go and form relationships between missions with all the school characters and stuff.
It's funny
you've got
to
teach lessons.
Because that's very much how Midnight Suns played last year.
Yeah, a lot of people likened the two, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's definitely something that puts me right off.
That's what put me off playing Three Houses. In the end, but I might have to give this one a go, Joe.
Yeah, the way they've made it really concise is fighting with the appropriate teammates you want to level up the bonds with. You get bond stars or bond points, which you can then spend to level up your relationship with that character. So if you fight with them a lot, there is still a main base you go to craft items and potions and stuff like that.
You develop the relationship in fighting
in the battles. Yeah,
that's much more engaging.
And you can also do that with the Engage stands. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I kind of realized it was called Fire Emblem Engage because you put a ring on to do it. It's almost like you're engaging that character when you put the ring on, because it does go on that finger as well.
Nice. Cool. You're pulling them out of time.
Basically.
Yeah.
And the story, they're always a bit convoluted. There's a dragon involved. You're related to the dragon somehow. And then it happens every 1,000 years. You've been asleep for 1,000 years. It's quite fairy tale. But a lot of the aesthetics of this one, it's quite, futuristic.
Mm.
Like when you, like my main character, when you form the bond with Marth, you get like laser wings. It's pretty cool.
Oh, right. Wow.
And like I'd never expected to see that sort of aesthetic in Fire Emblem because it's like a high fantasy genre. Obviously, you've still got your Pegasus and your demon riders and all that, but then you've got some like laser rapier, and it's like, I like this. This is new.
Yeah,
this makes it really distinct.
Yeah, definitely, because a lot of them kind of look like they blend into each other. So
yeah,
that's interesting. Well, I'll have to play as him when he's in Smash Bros. The next one.
Yeah, it probably will be, to be fair.
Yeah, with every other Fire Emblem character.
They should just make a Fire Emblem fighting game at this point.
I think so.
I think they should, yeah.
Like Soul Calibur, but better.
Everyone's here. Just the Fire Emblem characters.
Everyone's a sword fighter.
Hey, no, some of them have spears.
True.
They do.
True.
They do. And magic, yeah. Yeah, there you go. They do play different. Some of them play different.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. You got like 4 that all fight the same.
Yeah. Go on,
I can't wait to.
Joe?
I was just gonna say I can't wait to unlock more of the characters from games I've not played because I missed out on the ones on Wii.
Okay,
so if I get to play as I can never remember his name, the one with the big ass brass sword. You play as him on Smash.
Ike,
that's the one.
Ike was like your main on Smash for so long.
Yeah, he was, but only on Brawl because I couldn't have Roy. Could have a fire sword.
Yeah, that's true. Fire
best
swords
kind.
are the coolest kind of swords.
Ironically, yes. Well, with those out of the way, let's get on to.
But Badoo, it's the news.
We have quite a lot of news.
Loaded schedule, yes.
We actually do. It's a lot. It's a lot of little things, but there's a lot this time.
I know.
So let's start off with Star Wars Outlaws has had an interesting update.
Wait, is this the stealth update?
So they have taken out the Force stealth. That's one of the big things they've taken out.
No pun intended.
Force stealth, nice,
so you can
for the majority of the game, there is still sections where, from a story point of view, it has to be insta-fail stealth.
Yeah.
But for the majority, it's taken out. Yeah.
Which I think
it was supposed to just be massive, wasn't it, all the way through it, and annoying apparently.
Yeah, because I think it puts some consequence there other than just game over.
Yeah.
Start again.
Well, apparently it never actually was fully like that. So if you get spotted, a character will run and sound an alarm. If you stop the character doing the alarm, you're fine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it very clear that you have to do that, and it's hard to stop them.
Right.
Yeah. But they basically have done a big overhaul on the game, haven't they? So it's that, heavy weapons, apparently you used to drop them once you started climbing upstairs. And
now
you can keep them. And they've done a whole big overhaul on the game. Which sounds like a lot of really much.
Sounds like quality of life stuff that they've listened.
I don't think it's gone as far as like say Cyberpunk.
No.
But I mean it's only been a couple of months as well. So they can't really go that far. But it's interesting to me that they have put the time and effort in to changing the game. Whether it's for the best or not, I don't know.
Especially from is this EA?
Ubisoft.
Yeah. They're normally like set and done and then they sell you some DLC.
I'm very jaded with it. Because on one hand, you're like, okay, great, you're addressing fan feedback.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, most of the fans have already bought and played the game and just got a worse version of the game.
Yeah,
and most of this feedback would have come back from good
them.
QA testing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So it kind of feels like the early adopters were the QA testers in this case.
What did you say then, Ben? Sorry.
Isn't it like only 20-hour game or something? So
something
everyone
like
that loved it is already done with it.
It just feels a bit. I've got a complicated emotion about it because when Cyberpunk did it, I was all for it. I thought they've put loads of effort in to make this good and right by the customers. But I felt like that needed it and deserved it a bit more.
I'd arguably say that like Cyberpunk at least it was a good game at its core. I don't know if Star Wars Outlaws is because I haven't played it yet. If it's good enough for that. And then at the same time, like you were saying, whoever's bought it on day one, it's just more of a reason not to pre-order games because you're never going to get.
But if they didn't pre-order, they wouldn't have got that exclusive Jabba mission.
Sorry, people, we
don't
wouldn't
have heard the.
This is a very complicated thing. I think on one hand it's great, on another hand not so great.
Yeah, I'd have to play it to find out.
Yeah,
and I don't think I've got the time to play it, unfortunately.
I'd like to have a go at some point, like I said early on, like the idea.
Yeah, same.
I'm glad that when I
So-
come to pick it up, it will be better than it was
Yeah,
at
same.
launch.
Yeah.
But-
I just like that this game is one step closer to Star Wars Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
Yeah,
Out of a Star Wars game.
the thing is,
I think you're right, yeah.
Maybe they could have done this for Outlaws 2, but are they ever going to do one? Probably not.
I don't
Probably
think
not
so
this
now.
point.
However,
At least
if
not
this
This has
Ubisoft.
happened.
No, but if this update is received positively enough, maybe they will.
Possibly.
So
I have noticed it's not come down to £30 yet.
yeah, which
for
Ubisoft
Christmas.
games usually do.
Yeah.
So
It's still like 45 or something.
That's just
even
on a-
50.
on another side of the news, the deals this year have been crap.
Yeah, yeah,
Black
definitely.
Friday deals have been so bad. Like games
Yeah.
are usually way cheaper at this time of year, but they're all.
I don't know.
basically
I got
full.
Fire Emblem for 28 quid.
That's true, but it's been
That's a
out for-
Nintendo game.
Well,
That is true.
And I've not looked too much at the Nintendo sale, but like I know at least the PlayStation sale's been bad, and the Xbox sale I don't think was great either.
Definitely. It's more
Courtney got
reason-
Mario Odyssey for the same price as well, 33.
Yeah, but Mario Odyssey is like 6 years old.
I know,
7
but if
years
you go
old.
into like Smith's or Game, it's still like 50 quid.
Yeah, it
but
is,
that's
it is.
Nintendo's a unique beast. But
Yes.
the other sales are usually a lot better than they are this year. So
I mean, I got some physical games cheaper.
cheaper, but not like
I got Astrobot for £44.
yeah. Which
So
is
did I. Don't tell Sophia. Hopefully she isn't going to listen.
This will be the one episode she tunes in now.
I know. God damn it.
Astrobot was cheaper than normal anyway, if I remember rightly. Wasn't I don't know if it was full price. It might have been full price.
I think
actually.
it was actually. Yeah.
But hey ho.
Yeah.
I suppose that's news in itself. The deals
is.
weren't great
Deals were crap.
in the UK.
Crap
anyway.
Friday deals.
So to move on to other updates or other people who are updating their games, Baldur's Gate 3 has just got a new patch, or is going to get a new patch, sorry, in the new year. And it's going to add a new subclass to every single class, which I can't believe they're doing this.
It's going to sound
This far
really
on.
hypocritical of me now to say I think that's great.
I know, but the core game is
The
excellent.
people who played that at launch had a great time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they've just made it better.
This gives them more.
The people that
more
played
reason
it at
to play
launch though,
again.
are still playing it.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's
This
the thing,
this gives
yeah.
people another excuse to be like, oh, I want to try one of these subclasses out.
Exactly. Yeah. I think this is a good example of it, you know, being
Definitely.
you know, good community support.
Yeah, if it was ever going to give it a replayability, that's exactly it.
Definitely. And considering they said not so long ago that they weren't going to be working on it anymore, and then just to come out and be like, oh, yeah, there's new subclasses.
Did you also say crossplay?
I didn't say that, but I was going to get to it.
Yeah.
So it's also going to be crossplay when this
Yeah.
new patch comes out in the new year.
Which is
So
cool.
very, very cool. Very cool. To be able to play PlayStation to Xbox.
I'm assuming
PC.
mods becomes a bit more complicated because they are introducing mods and
Community
consoles.
mods, yeah.
are in. Because
Yeah.
I've downloaded a couple of mods
Yeah.
for hairstyles.
Nice.
Yes.
Nothing game breaking then.
You just needed a
hopefully.
mullet,
No.
didn't you?
I did need the
You
mullet.
just needed a mullet.
Well, it's the only hairstyle that fits between the horns.
Well, I'm an elf. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you're right. So that really cool. Nice one.
Yeah.
Different kind of update. We're getting updates on Avowed. Now-
Now some people play it. Yeah.
Yeah, some people have actually had some hands-on on it, and I was very lukewarm with this one. And a lot of people were, but
All the pre-release stuff's been a bit meh, hasn't
Yeah.
it? The
Yeah,
trailer's been a bit meh. The gameplay stuff's been a bit meh. Yeah.
but a lot of people coming out of this preview saying, you know what, watch out for this because it's actually really good.
yeah.
I don't know what it is still. I've seen a trailer. I don't get what the game actually is supposed to be.
It's basically
I'm with you
Obsidian
there, Joe.
Skyrim. It's
Yeah.
Obsidian Skyrim.
Okay.
I think that's the
If
best
you were-
way to look at it.
If you're going to
So,
dumb it down, yeah. that's
Obsidian
what it
already
is.
did Fallout with
Our
what's-
Worlds.
Outer Worlds. Yeah. I was
Sort
getting
of.
the other one mixed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
And that
so
was
this
like
is
Fallout Starfield, wasn't it?
kind of.
Yeah,
Because
kind
this is more their take on Skyrim. Now, there is
Yeah.
going to be key differences. I believe it's not like a giant open world in the same way. It's probably going to be
it's more like
open
areas.
zones.
Oh,
Yeah.
like Fable.
Yeah.
They kind of
but-
did that in Outer Worlds too, to be
Yeah.
fair, with the planets.
And then it's going to be more story and dialogue focused and heavy.
Yes.
You know, choices and stuff like that. The combat, you know, from what I've heard, is much better than Skyrim's was, which you'd like to think. You know, 13,
Is it still
14
first
years
person?
later? Both.
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it seems like one to watch out for. It looks really
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, it's coming out at the very unfortunate time of February, which
Yeah.
everybody likes to bring out the games. So it'll come out.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, so Joe's not playing it.
No.
Yeah,
No.
no.
I won't be playing anything else February through August, probably.
Not every single episode's going to be.
Well,
What you're playing.
I might just break it down with this week I've been hunting this monster.
I think you should.
And describe the monster.
Yeah, and the weapon.
Like some sort of David
and the
Attenborough
weapon you
documentary.
used.
Yeah.
Nice. So, moving on, there's been some rumors, guys. There's been some rumors about some PlayStation and Xbox handhelds in the works.
Ooh, give me that goss.
Yeah.
I love a rumor like this.
There's not more to say other than that, to be honest.
They are just rumors.
Just a rumor.
There's just a rumor that there is. I mean, it's been.
Cite your sources, man. Jeez.
They've seen the success of like the Steam Deck and the Switch, I think.
Yeah.
And they've thought,
a few people have basically come out and said it, and then Digital Foundry have also come out and they've said, we have heard about this actually. So this kind of like, we can confirm something's going on.
I think Phil Spencer has openly said they're working on something.
Yes, I think
I'm
he
sure
has as well.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So that's out there. He has said they're working on it. Whether it'll ever come out,
And they've been rumoured
we don't know.
in the past before. Now, Digital Foundry said something like, from these leaks or rumours, it doesn't sound as far in development as they thought it would be. So we're thinking, oh, well, these might be years away.
Yeah.
Like PS6, next Xbox.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
even if the handhelds had the same performance power as the Series S,
it'd be
you
mint
could
on a
fit
small
those-
screen. Yeah.
if you could fit those expansion cards in the back, you wouldn't have to worry about space. If you slotted them in the top like it was a SNES or something like that, or a Game Boy,
I think
have all your
yeah.
games on that.
That's what I wanted the Portal to be. PS4.
Yeah.
So now, part of this rumor is the Xbox One is official in a sense that Phil Spencer has said they are working on it. Whether it comes out, we don't know.
Yeah.
The Sony one is just a rumor at the moment, but the rumor sort of comes from apparently when they were originally doing the Portal, the intention was to make it like hardware, like for like so it can play games offline. It was supposed to be more of a Steam Deck like, and then at some point it shifted over to the cloud streaming platform.
We can't afford to do this, basically.
Well, probably, yeah. And
we
then
don't have the tech available.
yeah.
yet.
Now that has improved a lot, the Portal, because it was just in your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, very
streaming from your
recently
screen.
they've made it a cloud-based thing.
Fully
haven't they?
cloud-based, yeah. So
Yeah.
now you can stream games from the cloud, so you can do it more out and about, which is a big upgrade. Now,
Does it
top of
have
that,
cellular? Can you put a SIM card in it?
I don't know.
Ah,
I don't know.
'cause
But
that'd be
you could mobile data it.
Yeah,
in the same way. But on top of that, the sales have been really good. Apparently, they're really happy with the sales of the Portal. So clearly, there's an audience for it.
Yeah.
And I think if there's an audience for that, then there's going to be a bigger audience for something that can actually play games offline.
Definitely.
So the rumors, I think there has been rumors anyway that they're working on it, but that is kind of corroborated by the fact that Microsoft are doing one, so Sony are likely to do
there's
one.
got to be
And then
competition.
all this other stuff. Yeah. So it sounds like it will happen.
Well, it definitely makes sense from an Xbox point of view because everything's an Xbox. They want you to play
Yeah, that's
Xbox.
You're
everywhere.
an Xbox.
Yeah, outside.
Yeah.
So it would make a lot of sense for them to make some hardware for that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, if it's as powerful as a Series S, it's going to work.
And I think that's probably achievable by the time PS6 and the Xbox
Well, they've said
Series
that the
Y comes out, whatever we're calling it.
PlayStation 1, it's said to play PS5 games. So
Yeah.
it's going to have to be pretty powerful.
Yeah. It'll be a lower resolution,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. It's a small
Yeah.
screen.
I mean, the Steam Deck does amazing things for what
Yeah.
it is. So
It's whether or not you could plug it in and make it into a console, which I doubt. Like a Switch.
yeah, I don't think
doubt
they'll
they'll
go that
do
far.
it. Yeah, but it's interesting. I think I would be interested in that sort of device.
Same.
However, I don't know. I don't know if say I played a lot. I play a lot of PlayStation games. I don't know whether I'd then want to get a PlayStation 1 because I'm just going to be playing the same games.
Yes, I know what you
So
mean.
I don't know. That's why Steam Deck's quite appealing
But
to
there's
me.
this thing in the back of my
But it
mind.
frees up your TV.
It does.
It does, and you've bought the games already, so
Yeah.
Why,
So you've already got them.
Saves over. And,
If I go away, I immediately go to the Switch.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
not always is there a game on there I particularly want to play.
yeah, or sometimes you play it on the Switch because it's portable, like Prince of Persia, for example.
Yeah.
I've not got that, but I want to play it. Now,
Yeah.
I can probably play it on Xbox Game Pass at some point because it'll probably come to that because it's on the
Yeah.
Ubisoft thing. But it's not the type of game I want to play at home. It's the type of game I want to play on the Switch. So I'll end up getting it on the Switch for that reason. But if I'm
thinking about like
handheld.
the Ori games.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever had time to play them outside of the Switch.
Yeah.
So having the Switch is good for it.
Yeah.
But I always go back to, well, I'd like to play XCOM 2 again.
You could play it on the go.
But I could play it on the go.
Yeah.
On a plane or
But
something.
the thing is,
that'd be
My
amazing.
biggest problem with my Switch is I just put it in a drawer and I forget it exists.
Now,
That is
we know
my
the
biggest
Switch
problem.
2 is coming next year.
Yes.
We pretty much know it's going to be like the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's only going to play, it's going to be the only place you can play Nintendo games. So we'll probably all end up with one. At that point, do you need 2 handhelds?
Very true.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes.
Would you need to get a handheld
For both
every
hands.
single?
Yes.
So I want to be able to play my Xbox games in bed.
Yes. Yeah,
I
but
do
you
agree
can.
there.
Stream it to your phone. Get a
It's not
background.
the same. It's not as fast.
Well,
It's not as responsive.
No, but it'll
you
get
can feel it.
better.
Yeah, at least with an Xbox, you could get a Steam Deck and Game Pass games.
Yeah.
It's a bit more complicated.
But with the
you can do
PlayStation
it.
at the minute,
Yeah.
there is no way
Yeah.
of syncing up your PlayStation with a portable, basically, unless you stream, which is very unreliable.
Mm.
I would say.
Yeah, I tried streaming Forza. It was awful.
See,
Yeah.
I've had
Depends
a hit
on your
miss.
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My internet's not great, and I played a bit of Ghost Runner, and sometimes it was fine, and then it would lag and it'd be crap. So
And that's really dependent. That game's
yeah,
really dependent.
but there
on
was
it.
moments when it was fine.
Yeah.
So my internet's not great, so it'll definitely get there.
Yeah, we're still just a little early, aren't we?
Yeah.
If you could do it where you buffered a certain zone in advance or you buffered a few levels ahead, that would be a good way of doing it. But they
Hold
don't.
it in
It's just
RAM.
live streaming
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Right place and right time. I mean, I sometimes project a game on the side of my machine at work. Streaming Xbox game or something like that works very well. But then again, I can get about 300 meg down on my mobile. So, it works. Right place, right time.
That's really fast mobile internet.
Yeah.
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 No,
definitely.
definitely. Well, to be fair as well, just to finish off the handheld talk, even if they are definitely making these in the background, that is the rumor. Whether they actually come out
Is another thing.
is another thing because they
Yeah.
might think it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And scrap all
And
the
they
R&D.
probably won't be as
Yeah.
competitively priced as Steam because
Yeah, Very
the
true.
Steam Deck is very competitively priced. Because,
Isn't it still like 450 quid?
Yeah, it's really, really quite cheap for what you're getting. But
Definitely.
you're gonna, as it's set up, you can jailbreak it and download Windows and Game Pass and that. But as it comes out of the box, it's Steam only. So
Yes.
every game you buy, Steam makes money from. So they can competitively price it. Now it's the same with PlayStation,
yeah.
but I just feel like
But there's way more games on Steam than on PlayStation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The catalogue in Steam is ridiculous, isn't it?
If you were just a PlayStation guy,
Mm.
I can definitely see the appeal, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I see the appeal for myself.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Well, as you say, the Switch is the holiday console. For me, it was the PSP and PS Vita. That was
Yeah.
my holiday
Yeah, yeah.
consoles
Yeah.
over the DS, just because it was far more advanced and the
Yeah,
graphics were
exactly.
better and the games were just more expansive.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah, definitely.
definitely.
So moving on, guys. Yet another. Like, is it a hero shooter? Defiant, basically. It's closing down.
Another live service.
Another live service shooter
Yeah,
is closing down.
it's a
To
shame.
no one's surprise.
Yeah,
Now, I have heard Defiant isn't so bad. It plays okay.
it was good. It just
Yeah.
wasn't. How do you compete with COD?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
If you're just good.
Well, COD doesn't have heroes in it, does it?
No, but it's a hero shooter technically. This, but did you ever play Black Ops 4? 3? 4, I think it was, where it was a hero shooter, where
No.
basically it's COD, but you had ultimate abilities.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
so kind of like Rainbow Six Siege.
Kind of. There was like one character where you'd get like a flamethrower, but it was like a really powerful flamethrower. So that was your ultimate, and it would like kill people like
Right,
super
okay.
quick. And then another character would have like a look through walls sort of ultimate ability, that sort of thing. This is
Yeah.
kind of that. So it basically, the moment to moment gameplay was COD, but then you had your ultimate abilities. And I think everyone had like a ability. So I think one of them you could go invisible for a few seconds and that. So,
Okay. Did not know that was a thing.
but it was so similar to COD. So
Yeah.
yes, it was a hero shooter, but it was more competing with COD, and it was just too okay.
Yeah, I think it's oversaturated. We're
Yeah.
talking about like games,
But it's
genres that
oversaturated
don't-
by COD,
Yeah,
pretty much
Yeah.
exclusively.
but there's so many hero shooters too, as well.
Yeah, my
Or
point
live
is like,
services.
yeah, no one's playing X Defiant instead of Overwatch. It's too different.
Yeah,
Whereas you would try and play it over COD because it's very similar, but
Yeah.
it's never gonna.
and it's come out in the
Compete.
year where COD's actually got good,
Yeah, and is also on Game Pass.
and it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like
yeah.
if you're going to do any sort of hero shooter, if you're going to come into the genre
Mm.
now, you have to do something that's super different.
Definitely.
Like, I know Valorant's not recent, but it's recently come onto consoles, and that's so different from like CS:GO.
Well, this is the thing. This is why I don't really like calling it a hero shooter, because like Valorant, you could argue is a hero shooter, but again, it's nothing like Overwatch. It's not competing with It's not
Yeah.
competing with other hero shooters. It's competing
Yeah.
with CS:GO, and it's competing with it by being different, by having your hero abilities.
Yes.
This is the same. It's COD with hero abilities rather than Overwatch that plays a bit more like COD. If that kind of makes sense.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
A lot of people are bringing out live service games and they're just flopping. It's just again and again.
No
I don't-
one's learning the
But
lesson.
this wasn't the biggest flop. It just wasn't enough,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And
I think it's actually they've worked on these games for it takes a long time to make games these days.
yeah.
Let's say they worked on all these games for 5 years, and now we're seeing them all get released at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're all flopping.
And there's more to come.
And there's still more to come.
Yeah.
They must
So-
think, oh, theirs has flopped, so now's our chance.
Yeah.
Because
maybe.
theirs came out
Yeah.
and it stopped us from bringing ours
Ours
out.
is going to be better.
But if you've
Yeah.
already put so much money in, you
Yeah.
might release it. But then again, I'm going to have to bring it up again.
Yeah.
Concord.
Don't
Concord.
say it. Oh.
Release for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
left.
But that is more of
Us?
a hero shooter, isn't
But then
it?
some of
So,
them do really well. Helldivers this year.
Yeah, but it's slightly different because
And Marvel Rivals.
Play. Marvel
We'll
Rivals
see.
just come out. That'll do really well off the back of it being a Marvel franchise.
Very
It's,
true.
Yeah.
it's hard. The finals, for example,
Mhm.
that's actually seen pretty modest success. That is still continuing to go because
It is,
that is doing something different. It doesn't
Yes.
plays a bit like Battlefield, but not
But
similar
it's a heist.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not similar enough to Battlefield.
More
You know,
arcade.
it is its own thing, and it's very unique, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
found its player
Yeah.
base, and that's it. X Defiant was good, but it wasn't unique enough,
Yeah.
and it's just been swallowed up by Call of Duty. And the sad thing is, it closes in June, I think, next year.
Yes.
So that's the sad thing is, once it's closed, it's finished. Can't play it anymore. It's done. Contrast that with Square Enix, who's just recently announced Foam Stars is ceasing.
Of course. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not ceasing
Well, this is what I'm trying
the
to say.
servers. It's
This
just,
is it. This is exactly the point I'm trying to make. They're
Yeah.
stopping content for the game, but they're not turning the servers off.
Yeah. You
So
can still
why
play.
can't Ubisoft do that? I know it costs money,
yeah.
you know, to
But if
keep
the team-
servers on, but
If they're not like getting enough players, then I don't know they're having to spend money on the servers.
yeah, but
But then that's like a
basically-
minimal cost.
If some people
If you're not
have
updating
bought
it.
yeah,
is it free or
yeah.
yeah?
And they are refunding some people who've purchased stuff after a certain date,
Yeah.
but you could keep it
You
online.
keep it online and the
and-
shop.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
people might come to it and play a little bit, you know, just for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, speaking of games being bought and online for a long time, I discovered today the Mass Effect 3 online servers for multiplayer is still on. You
Really?
can still go find a game of Mass Effect
Yeah.
3.
You can't do it in the Legendary Edition. I know that much.
No, but I think if you have was it on 360 Mass Effect 3?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
If you have it on 360, I think you can still play.
That's
that is
cool.
crazy.
That
That's
is
good
cool.
though.
Yeah.
They're probably not.
That's
as
just
got-
a tacked on multiplayer.
Yeah.
as well.
They probably don't have that many servers for it because you're probably not going to see more than 100
Yeah.
people at a time. So it won't cost anywhere near as much.
Very
But
true. Well, Halo
Well, that's over
3
10
Not now
years
that-
ago. Then they
Yeah.
kept
Not
it
now that
going
we've
all the
announced
time.
it, our thousands of audience, you know,
Yes.
they're all
yeah,
going to go and
true. That's true.
flock to it now.
Endless hordes of shepherds.
Halo 3 only got recently closed last year or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
I just feel like they could keep it for a bit longer. I feel like
Yeah.
for once it's a rare Square Enix win.
They don't really give it a chance, do they?
Yeah.
When they shut them down. Anyway,
Just give it the axe.
we've got even more news.
More news.
To carry on
More.
with. So the ex-PlayStation CEO has been going around, Sean Layden,
Sean Layden, legendary
and
guy.
he's been in some interviews and saying some interesting things. Brad, could you elaborate, please?
He's always saying things. So
He is always saying
love
things.
him.
Especially in interviews.
Yeah, I feel like he was the pinnacle of PlayStation. I think when he left, it started to go a bit downhill.
It started to wobble.
Yeah, so he said a couple of things. The two main things you're referring to. I've got one quote and one I'll paraphrase.
Okay.
So the quote was, "You're not going to see another jump. You're not going to see another PS1 to PS2 jump in performance
Ever
again."
Yeah.
And there's a bit more to it, but that's the main point. And
yeah.
I think he's right. And I think that's been evident for the past, I don't know, many years. Like PS1 to PS2, huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
PS2 to PS3, still pretty huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it PS3 where they started introducing HD? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was like standard def to HD. Big deal, Then PS3 to PS4, pretty big improvement because it was a big performance thing, and games could look a lot more crisp, and 4K, I suppose, started
getting out that brown.
Yeah,
the brown zone.
Yeah, and 4K TVs became quite cheap over the course of a PlayStation 4's existence, so more people could buy that sort of thing. And granted, games weren't coming out at 4K, but they were, they could be upscaled a bit, and they were, still high res. Then PS4 to PS5, more games can now output 4K. People are making the most of the TVs, but it wasn't as big. But you can see the trend; it's getting less and less and less. And now, what they're going to do? 8K? No one has an 8K TV.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's probably going to buy an 8K TV.
Nobody needs 8K.
Exactly.
Yeah, visually, how much difference are you going to be able to see?
Up my frame rate, please.
I do think it's going to be.
I
do think it's going to be one of these where if you play a game at the end of the PS6 era and you compare it to a game, of now or early in the PS5, and I'm just saying PlayStation because it's Sean Layden, but this obviously is the same across all different consoles.
Yeah.
I feel like if you did compare them directly, you'd be like, oh yeah, there's a big difference. But
you've not noticed it going from one console to another.
Exactly. I think long gone are the days where you look at something like a Division 1 E3 trailer and think, holy crap.
Yeah.
That looks incredible. And then it comes out and looks nothing like that.
Yeah. But hopefully one day we'll get to the point where the things do look like the trailers.
Yeah.
I would be happy with just that.
Yeah. Have you gone back and watched like the Watch Dogs 1 trailer?
Yes, I have actually.
They actually do still look better than games that come out these days.
Yeah.
So it is crazy. But one day we'll get something like that.
Hologram. Great, that's going to be the next big jump.
Yeah. I think either that or VR where you actually go into a comatose sleep to go into it.
It sounds ridiculous, but I don't think you're wrong. I think the next big jump in gaming isn't going to be flat screen. It's going to be something else.
It's Sword Art Online, baby.
I think flat screen gaming is reaching the point where
without the death.
Yeah.
No, with the death.
Yeah. Where it's reaching the point where the jump between systems is minimal. It is still there. They are still getting things better. Ray tracing is still a thing, higher resolution, then higher frame rates can come with that. It is still getting better, but it's not as noticeable. The next big noticeable jump is going to be something different.
Well, I'm going to be interested to see how many people actually upgrade when the next console comes out. Because I've been speaking to a lot of my friends who immediately jumped on the Series X or PlayStation 5 bandwagon. But they've already said to me, like, I don't really play as many games now. I bought it because of COVID.
Yeah.
And
now we're all old and now we're time.
Yeah, no, I just don't get time.
Except Ben, he plays 105 hours of Factorio.
24 hours.
In case you're wondering, I did a cheesy grin in the background. But
us doing this podcast probably play more than the average.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely not more than a lot of people still, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, my friends have all said, I probably won't get the next one. Like, I'm happy with where I am, and I'll probably just carry on playing games in it. There's still games coming out on the PS4, goddammit.
They are saying that like midway through the PS5. So maybe in 3 years.
And again, we're still back in that they haven't killed off the last generation.
Yeah. If the next generation ends up as like 2 overlaps, so you've got PS4 and PS6 games both coming out.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Or even if it was just like the PS4 Pro could handle it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
I know.
Very true. Very true.
Be an interesting time.
Everything's an Xbox, so it's all right.
Everything's an Xbox.
But then off the back of that, the other quote he's been saying, again, this is one I'll paraphrase, but it's not just recently he's been saying this, he's been saying it for a long time, that games are just getting too expensive.
Yes.
He said games were, during the PS1 era, they would cost maybe like $1 million to make. In the PS2 era, maybe 2 million, and then it would double again. It'd be 4 million for the next console, and then it'd be 8 million. And he said by the time you got to the PS4, games were costing 100 million to make.
Yeah.
But now the 200-300 million. It's a lot of money.
There's so many good games coming out that don't cost anywhere near as that.
And John Layden's point is, they need to focus more on those games.
Yeah.
Put the resources into making games like that.
Less resources, but more risk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It will end up being less risk inherently because it's less financial risk for the developers, but more risk for the
fans, if they're actually going to play it.
I suppose.
I'm just plucking a franchise out of PlayStation's, some of the dead franchises. Gravity Rush. I haven't played it myself, but it's been on a backlog for a long time. That was probably a risk at the time, but they did it. I mean, there's 2 of the games now, and
they've sold really well.
They sold pretty good, but they're not making a third one because they're putting all the money into like sure bets.
Yeah,
but they're expensive.
But they're never sure bets.
Yeah,
and at the same
there's
time,
no such thing as a sure bet. No. It's a bet.
The sequel, maybe.
And then the ones that they are taking risks with are stuff like Concord or live service stuff because they want to get the money.
Yeah,
the dough.
Why don't they invest in things that don't have systems that are inherently expensive to generate? Like, I'm sure Wipeout, the racing game, would not take nearly as many resources as, say, Horizon Zero Dawn.
We need
to create.
less open world games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
I don't need to walk 5 kilometers somewhere.
I mean, they are great, but you can only play so many of them.
I just want to continue with a little bit of what he said as well. So he's talking about the ballooning cost and development.
Yeah.
And he said some of that, can be attributed, you can divide up, slice it up, like a level in a game costs X million. Yeah. So say levels cost, 2 to 3 million or however much they cost. I don't know, to develop. If you've got a game that's so long that 50% of your player base don't even see the last mission, what's the point spending money on that last mission? If you made the game shorter, more engaging for people to complete, you're almost getting more return on your money because people are actually seeing it through to the end.
Yeah, they might play your sequel.
Yeah.
Especially if it carries on the story.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I like them still. I still want them to do that. But I think about like God of War.
Games,
how long's God of War? 20 hours?
No, which one? 2018?
2018 and Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was, I think we platinumed it in about 40, 50 hours.
Okay.
Something like that. So the main campaign, I think, 20 to 30 hours.
Yeah.
Extras, an extra like 10 to 15.
Yeah, that's good to me.
That was a good
Now,
one.
I really liked Final Fantasy, but 90 hours to finish it, you are not getting anybody who's vaguely interested.
I feel like God of War
that's
is
why
a
I
good
won't touch it.
example.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed.
God of War is a good example of a long game.
Yeah,
that
and you
should
can only
be
do it
the
like
length.
once in a generation as well.
Yeah. You don't mind every now and again game like Red Dead coming out, Red Dead 2, huge mammoth game that is once every 5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Even if it's like one a year,
That's too often.
It is too often. But at the moment, it's multiple a year.
Yeah.
You can't get to them all. If it's a quality enough
the average gamer can't. Yeah.
No, exactly. So, yeah, I agree with what he says. I think games should generally across the board reduce the spending on them. And you look at what's
Reduce
coming
scope.
out. Yeah, but you look, there's something there because you look at what's coming out across the pond in like China and Korea and stuff. These big AAA, you could argue AAA games. But on like AA budgets. And granted, their labour costs are a lot less, but they're doing them in like ridiculous time frames.
Black Myth Wukong,
Black Myth Wukong took a long time to come out, to be fair, but a lot of the others, they are
you think
coming
about
out pretty
how long it would
quick.
take if a Western developer did it, it would take a lot longer, I reckon.
Probably. It's crazy.
I think it was a small team, if I remember rightly.
It's crazy.
But hey ho. Anyway.
All I'm saying is Pal World.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Pal World, that's Pal World specifically. Has anybody seen a trailer for Light of Motiram? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, the Horizon Zero Yawn.
Yes. Horizon Zero Originality.
Yes, this one. Now, I don't know how they've got away with it because apparently PlayStation are putting it on their console and they've like funded some of the trailer as well.
I don't know why they
but it looks almost exactly like Horizon Zero
it's
Dawn.
the same as what happened with Pal World. where the trailers, people are like, this is Pokemon, but with guns.
Yeah.
Whereas people are looking at this like, it's Horizon, but with, more melee combat or whatever.
I think it looks different enough gameplay wise.
Well, have you seen the actual gameplay? Because I hadn't seen that until.
Well, the trailer you sent, the combat looks more Monster Hunter.
There's a full trailer.
There's a full trailer with
full
gameplay
walkthrough.
Essentially, it's Power World.
Yeah.
Oh,
you even get little creatures.
I don't think you catch them, do you?
Tremendous.
I think so. It's either you build them or you catch them.
Yeah.
But you get little creatures, and it looks.
It's a survival game.
It looks exactly like Power World.
I'm in.
Yeah. Souls-like combat almost.
Yeah, with almost like Souls-like combat. So that's where the combat bit.
This is a buzzword game.
Yeah, basically.
It's like base builder, companion catcher, hunting.
It's like somebody's just typed in
crafting.
What's popular? Souls-like combat, Power World, survival, and then Horizon. I don't know why people are saying Horizon's that popular still, but hey ho.
Well, because they just released another remaster, didn't they?
So So basically, it's no originality.
It looks exactly like you said. Someone's typed it into like an AI generator, and made this game, which unfortunately is probably going to become much more popular, or maybe not popular, but common.
I mean, it looks well made. Like it doesn't look like it's falling apart at the seams.
No,
it looks well made. I suppose it's
not three microtransactions in a.
They must really like those games and be like, let's do it.
They put all their effort into building a game rather than creativity.
Yes. It makes me laugh that Power World essentially copied a load of things and then somebody's copied them.
Yeah. What was Power World? Tencent, published by Tencent?
I couldn't tell you.
It's made by Pocket Pair, but I don't know whether it's
I'm not too sure.
Because this one is Tencent. So.
Yeah. It makes me think as well that Power World came out at the start of the year, but this looks really similar.
Yeah. But it's not coming out for a bit, is it?
No, it isn't.
No release date. So
I'm sure you guys will have seen it. Damon shout out Damon. He tells me off if I don't shout him out after he's drawn my attention to something.
Grand Theft
Anata, the anime GTA thing he dropped
in the Discord today.
Yes.
Oh, it just looks tremendous. I mean, there's really so much going on. I don't know what to say about it.
It looked unique enough. However, then it started showing the Spider-Man stuff.
And I was like, direct copy.
This is straight out of Spider-Man. Like,
is that stuff I don't like when it's like Grand Theft anime, fine. But when you start ripping like literally like almost animations from other stuff. They've probably remade them, but they've got heavy inspiration.
Yeah,
I would say the only thing that made it look GTA was the fact it was in a city.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's
and
why
there was cars.
Cars.
Yeah,
well, that's long been not the goal of GTA games.
Exactly.
Stealing cars.
So that side, it's fine, but it's like the Spider-Man side. It just feels like they've copied something.
Yeah. But at the same time, they're like, well, I really like those games. I want to make it like that. Inspired.
There was other bits in it that made me think Chainsaw Man, like the car that just suddenly turned like it was possessed by a demon.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
It was so random.
It looked all right, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, it did look pretty good.
It turned my brain to soup, if I'm honest, because I didn't know what was coming next.
Is it like kind of like a TikTok game where it's just short attention span? Yes, get it in your face, play it for a bit, and then don't think about it after that.
It'll be crammed with microtransactions, I imagine.
Yeah.
Is it on everything? Or is it Sony only?
I don't know. They haven't.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh,
which one?
Anata.
Anata, I don't know. I know the Light of whatever
Motiram.
it's called is Sony. It's PlayStation console exclusive.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope that's what it's called. The Light of.
It just the Light of Horizon. Oh, crossed out. But then Power World underneath it crossed out.
But these games look, like I said before, like AI games. Now that leads me on to Elon Musk, which I've got opinions about this man, which I won't delve into.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not his biggest fan, let's just say that. And he's just said he wants to make video games great again.
Well, didn't he also say he's sick of these big corporations making video games bad?
Yes.
A man who owns 4 big corporations.
Yes.
And is running 3 of them into the ground.
Yes. He also is the same man that said he couldn't play GTA because in the opening of the game, it made you kill police officers and he couldn't bring himself to do it. So clearly he doesn't play a lot of games. I think he pays people to play his games for him.
Apparently he's
top four
Diablo
players.
4 player or something.
But he's not. He's paid someone to do that.
I would
on
imagine
his
so.
account. Yeah.
And he probably does play it.
But anyway, enough about him. He has said that he wants to open an AI-generated games company to make loads of better games. And I don't know how he thinks that's going to work. But let's just say the response hasn't been very positive from, I think, actual gamers. I think there's a lot of people who will lap up anything Elon Musk says and think it's a great idea. But the majority of people say, I don't want AI games.
The only way an AI game would be good is if the AI was used to shorten coding times.
And
if it could write scripts.
Yeah,
at the moment, AI is heavily used in game development for good reasons. SpeedTree. So SpeedTree is an AI tool that you use to make forests in game. So you're not making the same,
blades of grass,
6 trees and placing them.
So it takes a bunch of tree assets that you've made and basically merges them together. So then you get loads of trees that are different, but you've not had to go through and make each one. That's an example of an AI tool. And there's loads of them out there. That's fine. But at least the way he's worded this, he wants to create a studio that's,
run by AI.
Yeah, it creates games with AI. Like, that is its selling point. It'll probably be an NFT game, let's face it. It'll have some Doge coins in there somewhere.
I don't really know how to feel about it, because if he gets all right people on it, it might...
Well, this is to not get people on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know till it gets any further, but... At the moment, it sounds like...
When you hear AI game studio, you're immediately like...
Yeah.
No thanks.
I think they want to use generative AI to do all the creative...
Yeah.
But at the same time, we were just saying how much... There's too much money in it now.
Yeah.
400 million to make a game. If it removes some of that to make a decent game still, I'm kind of for it. It's not...
It can do certain things, but when you start getting it to write scripts and stuff,
I can see it. Yeah,
like art.
Yeah, Elon Musk
asset generation.
Make game, make not woke.
Yes,
haha, genius.
Anyway, I've got one more bit of news for you, and it's more random games that are copying other games, but this one goes that step beyond.
Oh god, I know what this is. I know what this is.
You guys have heard of Helldivers, right?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard of Sex Divers?
No.
It is way worse than you're probably even thinking. So
the
premise of the game is, imagine Helldivers. So you drop in on your planet, you kill bugs.
It literally looks exactly like Helldivers
pretty
in
much
this regard.
exactly.
If you're telling me you drop into a double bed.
No, well. Once you've killed the bugs, you go back with good reputation. You got high standing.
Are you going back with STIs?
And by getting this high reputation, you get more popular with the ladies. So when you go back to base...
Wait, so the core gameplay loop is pretty much the same?
Oh, well, at least at half of it. When you go back to base, you just have sex with everyone. And when I say have sex with people, you're imagining just like a little, like a Mass Effect cutscene. This is like full-on CGI
quick time
porn.
Events.
No, this is CGI porn. Like,
it really is. It really is.
It's actually quite hard to find the Steam page, because if you go on Steam and search it's not there. But if you go on Google, it will take you to the Steam page. It's rough.
Calling in an orbital strike.
LZ is hot. LZ is hot.
I kind of want you to go on the page and have a look, but if you are
of age, if you're of age and just want to laugh, have a look.
It is hardcore CGI porn.
It really is.
Nothing is blurred out. It is every excruciating detail. They put a lot of effort into these animations.
Brad's watched a lot of these
spent
animations.
A lot of time there.
I was showing Jake earlier, because we
saw... viewed this Steam game for 3 hours, Brad.
God damn.
That's longer than its runtime.
But yeah, it's rough. I don't know why it exists.
No,
but it does.
No.
I know why it exists.
Yeah, I know exactly why it exists.
There's some depraved individuals.
Yeah.
That was a nice place to end the news.
Yeah.
That's the news, guys.
Is that news or nudes?
We went a lot of places with all that news. There was a lot.
Yeah,
there was a lot. Oh, so
Joe,
how could I follow that on? Really?
Just
socials.
Silence.
I think we should just end the podcast there. We're shutting down.
Yeah. That's our legacy.
So yeah, the socials. You can find us anywhere where you type our name into Google, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, not Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
We have
Threads. We're getting on Blue Sky. Brad, if you want to tell them more about that.
We have just started a Blue Sky that I'm sort of in charge of at the moment. Made a few posts on there at the moment, just sort of like popping up and comment sections, and we'll be posting everything there like we do on Twitter, but we're more active on Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue Sky is the life raft off the sinking ship of Twitter. So
yes,
that's where we'll be migrating to.
We're more active.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just got less bots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah. Or the bots are just better and we don't know yet.
Oh my God.
Okay. But also, do you want to do our big announcement, Joe?
Oh, yes. We have a new logo.
Yeah, we do.
It's no longer AI generated.
All that talk
Suck
about
it, Musk.
AI. All that talk about AI, and we were just as bad. But
we were, unfortunately.
When we started the podcast, we weren't sure how long we'd be doing it for. We needed a logo, and I was going to say none of us are artists, but Joe actually is really good at art. But we kind of just wanted a quick logo. So we
didn't have the time at the start.
Yeah. And we just came up with this logo that we had previously, and it was fine. It did the job. There's been a lot of people online who don't take
mainly YouTube.
Yeah, they don't take too kindly to AI, and I agree with what they say. We've just not been able to, fund getting a proper logo. But now we have. We've taken all that feedback, and we've paid an artist to make us a logo. So
we have
new logo.
Joe
should be
still
live
edited it a bit though.
Yeah,
I will say
did a
that.
bit of tweaking, but. It should be live everywhere now.
When this episode comes out, it should be live everywhere.
Yeah. New logo.
Yeah, new logo, guys.
Whoa. Only nearly 2 years in.
Yeah.
All right. With socials out of the way, we are going to move on to the Backlog game. And this time with the Backlog game, we offered the chance to the Discord players to play along with us. So if anyone has played with us, please tell us in the Discord and tell us what you thought about it as well. Yeah. We'll mention it next episode. Yeah. But the game we played was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, a Castlevania style side-scroller, dungeon crawler type game.
Yes. Now, Brad did say, I will have to correct him, it's not connected to Castlevania. However,
it's not.
It's made by the same guy who made Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Yes. Rightly. So it is tangential.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just not in the lore.
I was actually thinking of a completely different game, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, you were thinking of Shadow something, the 3D one, weren't you?
The 3D one, that's the one I was thinking of, yeah. But also, isn't there a Castlevania game called, not Ritual of the Night, but something else of the night, or Ritual of the something else?
Oh, yeah, there's always
Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night, yeah. So.
Something of the something is the way they do the thing.
Yeah.
The way the name convention most of the things. But yeah, what did we all think?
Personally, I didn't get on with it.
You didn't get on with it?
I didn't get on with it. So, I expected to as well, with it being sort of my style retro. 2D. Yeah.
When you told us about the game, I looked into it. I thought, really good reviews. Looks like my cup of tea. I like a good side-scroller game with good combat. But I will agree with Ben. I didn't actually like this one bit.
Not one bit.
I'm going to be... No. I'm going to prepare everyone. There might be a few rants in this.
Wow.
But, great. I'm done.
bear in mind, it's just my opinion. And there is very good reviews about this game. So some people really love it. But for me personally, I didn't actually have one good thing to say about it.
Wow.
I do apologize.
Oh, come on. Not even not even the first subject that we go on to with the art style. Didn't like the art style?
I liked the art style. I thought it was quite pretty.
Well, let's hear Jake's overall.
Oh, yeah.
And then yours as well, Joe.
Yeah, to be, I suppose, the politest I can, it just wasn't for me. Just wasn't for me, this. I
think I might know why it's not your guys' cups of tea.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think we'll get into it, but I think so too.
But what about you, Joe?
Yeah, what about you?
Like it? That's the most important thing.
I didn't realize it was as jiggly as it was. I will say that.
What do you mean by jiggly?
Just in the, it's not like a cutscene, but it's like the word to words. Yeah, the character animation is very, I want to say, Eastern inspired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially
like
with
Stellar Blade style, like
Especially when the outfit you get at the beginning, which is
the pirate,
all the other outfits. It's very revealing, isn't it?
Yeah. In the first time I played it on Nintendo Switch, it didn't have that content, and it was on a smaller screen, so I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair as well, this is like the Ultimate Edition or something, and aren't these costumes for
Shantae?
That's it. Yeah, it's like a tie-in, isn't it, to Shantae? Yeah. So that's why you get a sword and a
little
costume
pistol
at the start. Yeah.
But other than the jiggliness, you liked it.
I'm going to say it was faithful, and that can be taken either way.
And I think that, I think I would back that.
Same, actually. Yeah.
So what do you want to get into first, Joe?
Let's do the art style first, because we've already mentioned some visuals.
Yes.
I know I said that I don't like the sort of outlining they did in Smash 4 and the new Mario Brothers Brothership.
Yeah.
This did it a lot better.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Because I thought
Joe's.
Okay, go on. Before I start my first round.
Yeah.
I think I mostly liked it because it's already on a dark background, so it's hard to notice most of the time. It's only when you're talking to It's only when you're talking to someone it looks like almost comic book style drawing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen a lot in the game. And it did help with differentiating some of the enemies to me.
Yeah, I think functionally it helped, exactly as you're saying. But one of the first things I noticed when I booted it up was that art style. And I did kind of think, I thought back to what, you hating Brothership. Yeah. I thought I'd much prefer. I agree with what you're saying about Brothership. I see the point. It kind of looks like those 3DS games like Smash 4 on 3DS with the giant outlines, and it just looks a bit ropey. And I just kind of thought this looked like a 3DS game blown up.
Yes.
I think the reason they did it is so it looks like stained glass. All the characters look like they could be from a stained glass portrait.
Okay, that's interesting.
And that would be like the lead lines between the panels.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
It's definitely panelled, isn't it? I get what you mean, because it's like there's a top layer of you and the enemies, and then there's the background, and there's a further background as well, which is almost 3D sometimes.
It is 3D. They just put it in that perspective.
To me, it's too much. It's too much different art styles
in one
slapped on top of each other, and to me, it feels like almost like a sticker slapped onto a 3D environment.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there.
Some of the enemies as well are 3D, and it just confuses me that I'm like, you look 2D, well, but 3D at the same time.
Just doesn't work. It's not cohesive.
I kind of liked it. I'm not particularly up on art stylings and such, but the biggest issue for me, the art styling sometimes detracted away from where to go. I couldn't tell that there was a thing to jump on. I couldn't tell that it looked pretty, but it didn't always work.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to get right in 2D sort of side-scrolly games.
Yeah.
What's background and what's foreground?
Yeah.
Took me ages to like that canon.
Well, I did think the outline helped that with a lot of the platforms.
Yeah.
Especially when it was like the ship bit at the beginning. A lot of the oak planks that were coming forward, they were the obvious things to jump on. But they had them later on without that. And it's like, oh, so that's probably in the background and I can't jump on that. But I know what Ben is on about with the cannon. Because it doesn't tell you until that point about your spells either.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
A bit of like a ropey bit to get out as well of the ship.
Yes.
And that bit I didn't know that was a jump on thing. Because I was blasting out the reading. I was a bit short on time the first few times I played it, so I was blasting out instead of reading it just to try and get a feel for it, and skipping a lot of the tutorials and stuff it was telling me to do. I'm sorry, I just did. I was in a rush. I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I didn't so much not like the character designs mostly, but I didn't like the enemy designs.
The piles of black goo, basically, when most of the time.
Then some of them you'll run into, like, okay, he looks menacing, and you hit him and he's dead in 3 hits.
But I got some later where there was like it was like a portrait that came off the wall. I've seen in games before. Portrait will come off the background and it'll come into the foreground. It'll be an enemy, but usually they've got like monsters' legs, or they'll be a bit deformed in some way. And you can tell it's an enemy. In this, they were literally just a floating portrait. It just looked a bit crap. It just didn't look like a menacing enemy, and they were quite hard. They like flew around and pain in the arse, but it didn't look very creative. And then you had the flying ghost enemies that were just frustrating.
Oh,
and the birdmen.
Yeah.
That always flew just out of reach of any melee weapon.
Yeah.
I used all my MP on those guys.
Yeah. The flying pigs as well. They were weird.
But talking about like art style and stuff, and I know this is a me thing. I really didn't like the UI and how that looked. Now, there's a lot of games, particularly like Eastern games, that look like that. And it can be pretty clear what you're meant to do in the UI. It's just not very creative. It was just a bit bland to look at. I don't know if anyone agrees.
How would you have displayed it?
Menus. It's like things like in the pause menus and stuff.
So it just looks like
bland.
Right-click menu, basically.
It was very functional. Did exactly what it needed to do, but with zero pizzazz. And
you prefer it to be something like a Destiny with like the cursor or like.
No, I hate cursors in games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but just looked a bit better. Like Destiny's menu looks really cool.
Yeah.
Inviting. Whereas it just looked a bit bland. There's a lot of like stats about, and I was like, I don't really know what any of this does. And you go into like your menu of like inventory, and it's just like a stack of, it's just a list of items, and
that is intrinsic to this genre, though.
Yeah, that's what this is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just feel like it could have had a bit more flair. I don't know, just something.
The fireworks every time you open the menu.
Maybe.
As we go into like gameplay off the back of what you just said, there was one thing I was thinking as I was playing it the whole time. I was like, I know it's a Metroidvania, but I want more of the Metroid and less of the Castlevania.
100%.
Yes.
There was you put
it very well there. Yeah.
There was no Metroid elements.
No.
There was never anything where you had to get a new item that gave you more stuff that you could,
or a power up, or a
nothing.
I would have liked it if you could move and attack at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that was the only reason I used the Kung Fu shoes, because you could slide and attack at the same time without taking damage.
This was one of the big fails for me.
Yeah.
We were into the combat bit.
Yeah. It was, to be perfectly honest and blunt, it was bad. I found it was every weapon had one attack. And I know it doesn't, and I'll get into that in a second, but fundamentally you had one button to attack. I'd say it's a sword, an overhead swing. If you jump or you press up, it's the same overhead swing. Yeah, you can't press it twice. It does two different attacks. One attack, just overhead swing. You crouch, it's an overhead swing. If you want to dodge, you can only dodge backwards. You can't dodge forwards like through an enemy, so you're just dodging backwards. You can't block, you can't do anything. Now, some weapons you unlock
a combo.
Combos
like a Street Fighter input.
Yes, so it's down, left, right.
Yeah, it's
X,
a fighting game.
And it's
Yeah.
And I unlocked a katana that had a parry that you had to do a 4-button prompt to parry.
To parry? Wow.
And that broke me. I was like, why? Why can't I just block?
Brad's
why do
controller
I have to
was
do
never the same again.
So I get that there's combos in it, because I never used any of the others, but I unlocked a few. So I assume some of the other swords.
I got the Kung Fu shoes one.
Yeah, but why make it a fighting game?
I don't know.
Even if
type input.
Go on, Ben.
Even if there was the improvement for me could have just been a 3-hit combo. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
you didn't even have to do any more damage.
Yeah.
It could have just done the same damage as the one hit, but it had gone, and it had just made me feel better. And then it also wouldn't have gone, every flipping time you moved.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Every slash.
The same scream.
Yeah.
So even just carrying on with like gameplay in general, I found like the checkpointing or
the save rooms.
Yeah. Can I just quickly go back to the combat before you jump into that?
God.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Somebody listening outside of the room wonders what you're watching.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you get impaled by shards.
Yeah.
That scream is...
Yeah,
I had to turn it down.
Which it happens more often than I would like.
Yeah, and
every time you encounter a new enemy,
mid-combat,
the whole screen stops, loads of petals fly everywhere.
Yeah.
And
you get impaled with a massive crystal.
It added an element to the combat because you got your magic. Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know about anyone else. I got two buttons for magic. So I had my Y attack, sometimes summoned, sometimes a bit more powerful. Like I'd big like AoE thing, and I had my right trigger that was like a
ranged. Yeah,
it was quite fun to throw them in. I just didn't get enough mana to constantly use
they
them.
were very costly. Yes.
Yeah, and again, it's only one.
Yeah. Now there was more further down. There was like
there was like 5 different types of shards you could get.
Yeah, there was summons and some others. The other ones you could get that I
the
never
bats.
got to. No, yeah, but the summons for the bat were just on your Y.
Yeah, but you could get actual summons that follow you.
They weren't called summons. They were
familiars.
Familiars.
Yeah,
And
familiars.
there was some other stuff that you could get, like there were different types of spells. I imagine they were different buttons to press to get them up.
Yeah.
I never got that far, and I really wanted.
I didn't get it, but I saw a really cool defense one that I thought I liked the look of, because I did do a little bit of research because the tips and tricks were just pointless. Nothing told you anything about it, what you were supposed to do. But I saw it was portraits floating around her. And I just thought it was a really cool defense one. Just pictures continuously circling her.
That looked straight out of Vampire Survivors.
It did, yeah.
Right.
I had the one with the big tentacles, which is a really cool, visually interesting attack.
Yes, from the first boss.
Yeah, it's like a big full screen with tentacles slash around. And that was cool. I liked that. I thought I was going to get more stuff like that. And then you just kind of didn't. You probably do later. But
I feel like from the mainline bosses, you get one of them each time.
Yeah. What I was going to say before, I just remembered, is the bookcase thing. It's a really cool mechanic.
Yeah. So
if the combos were actually good combos, if they weren't fighting game.
So you interact with books, like bookshelves in the world, and it will give you these combos, essentially. And it'll say, do this attack with this weapon.
I like that aspect. Like, it does a couple of interesting things. It's just, its core is messy.
See, it never worked out. That's what they were. I looked at the bookcase and I was like,
skip through the text
information and left again.
So, can I talk about checkpoints now?
Yes, please, because I've got a lot to say about this as well.
I hate games now. Feel so dated if you don't have a checkpoint. If it's all save based, it's frustrating more than it is anything. So, if you die, you go back to your last save.
Which, I get the appeal because people like to play old school type games.
Yeah, but it should be an option to turn it off, I feel.
I don't
Or just have those save rooms somewhere that's closer to the hard points of the game.
Yeah, because the amount of times I would go out, kill some enemies, I'd be low on health, I'd be like, oh, now I've got to go back to the save because I don't know where the next one's going to be. And this happened to me, and my God, did it annoy me.
Yeah, because every time you re-enter a room, all the enemies respawn.
Exactly. So I killed loads of enemies in this room, got loads of stuff, went into the next room, and there's more enemies in there. I thought,
Someone say it's a Souls-like experience.
Yeah. Well, if it was a Souls-like experience, it'd be better. Like if you could go back and get your souls.
Yeah,
that would solve
it'd be way
all
better.
of this, but you don't. So I was like, oh crap, this room's filled with enemies. I best go back. Went back, all enemies respawn, including this like mini boss type thing. I had low health, so I ran, and then I ended up getting myself trapped in a corner with loads of enemies around me coming at me, and you can't get through them because you touch them and you'll get hit. All I could do was back dodge into a corner to the point where I was surrounded, and I died. And I had to reload to save, and that was my tipping point. That was the end. That was when I just noped out and wrote my ranting bullet points.
If you turn around and do a back dodge, can you not dodge through an enemy?
Not really, no.
No,
It just doesn't
I've tried.
Does not give you iframes? No.
It's just,
You just get hit and then you can't go past them. Because I thought like a cool dodge would be cool.
Yeah.
I never really utilized it because I was just jumping all the time because the only way you could move and attack.
I used it a lot in the second boss, which I somehow managed to beat last a couple of days ago.
The Samurai Man.
The Samurai Man.
I
just after I tried a bit after that and I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's the save points.
Yeah.
You save, and it's not always like you have to find these save points, and if you don't find them and die, then you're going to go back to
the last one.
The last one.
Yeah.
Which when I got off the ship after the first level, I know the castle's probably like it's like a tutorial. The ship, isn't it?
Yeah.
The castle's like the whole game. I went from the base into the castle, and I met this guy. What's he called? Alfred or something?
Something like that.
The old wizard man.
Yeah. Then carried on and went, and I got to this point, and I was like, there needs to be a save point near here somewhere, surely. And then I died.
You've gone past one already.
Yeah, I had. So then I died. I went all the way back
to the ship.
to not the ship, but the base, just after the ship. And I was like, oh my God, I've just lost
beyond me.
45 minutes
But
of
even
time.
if you kept all your XP in that.
But you don't.
But you
It's
don't.
hard reset. I saw the Alfred guy 3 times before I got past it.
Which luckily that didn't happen to me. But something similar, that fire sword boss, pain in the arse. Yeah. I Googled it and he is supposed to be like the hardest boss or one of the hardest bosses in the game. But all the tips were use loads of health items and you'll be fine. I have no health items.
You don't find them that often.
No,
you don't find potions.
There's a save room right next to him. Fine. There's also another room next to him with like a stained glass window in it.
Yes.
Oh, so you can teleport back to the
I think it's
castle.
a teleport. Yeah.
It is.
But you don't have the teleport in the main area.
You do.
You do. I scrolled all the way over on the map.
I didn't realise this either.
Yeah.
You break a wall down, don't you?
No. You come out of the base and then you go up and back in.
Yes, that's it.
Is the teleport
Yeah,
room.
but I didn't unlock that.
No, you can find it easy.
But I would have had to go back to the base.
You would.
Yeah, so this was
So
my
I had to do
problem.
the same thing. So I was fighting the boss and I just kept dying. I was like, I must need to go back to the base.
Yeah.
And then you have this item called like a wayfinder, which teleports you straight back.
Yeah.
Which you can buy. So, but you can't.
But I didn't have that.
Did you not?
Nothing.
So you would have to have walked all the way
So
back.
that's why I didn't have any health items. I couldn't teleport back. I didn't want to walk all the way back because it was freaking
I
ages.
looked back and I was like, so how am I going to get back to this boss? Am I going to have to do it all over again to get back there?
And then you found the
and then I Googled it. I was like, where
You went
is there
online.
is there a teleporter near the main base? And people are like, yeah, of course there is. It's just here. And then I was like, I looked on the map that it gives you because it gives you like little doors, doesn't it, to get into places. And I looked at that and went, oh, yeah, there is a door up there, but you have to go out, fight a couple of enemies, which leads up to the castle, then go up and
back.
And I was like, why?
But the fact that we all missed that.
Yeah.
The other thing really is...
No, I did.
Yeah.
But
you did.
I don't know why they didn't just integrate that into the save room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of it.
Yeah. So then
you fall asleep on the couch, wake up on another one.
So I was stuck on
Like a
this.
good night out.
I was stuck on this hardest boss in the game with no health items and no like feasible way of getting back without just running. I could not be arsed. I did it. I beat the boss. It took me ages.
Yeah, it took me a long time.
Yeah. And the boss has
Did
no
you
health
feel
bar.
achievement afterwards?
No. Because I didn't even feel like I did that well on the time I beat him, but it has no health, so you don't know how far through the
yeah,
I
that
don't
was
so
an
much
issue for
mind the
me.
no health, but because it can be done right. It's just doing a lot of things
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a health bar. I like to know that I'm doing something to it.
It's mostly if they don't have one, it's like the rule of 3. In the right time limit, especially with the squid lady at the very beginning, you knew how to do it.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it changed.
Yeah.
It changed. Type.
It was quite easy to know that. But with the
Yeah.
samurai guy, you just wailing on him until you hope he's dead.
Yeah.
The RPG elements.
Right. So
With your stats,
yeah. So there's
and
a
your
lot.
levels.
There's actually a lot going on here.
Yeah.
That because it doesn't sound like a lot of us got very far into the game through
No.
frustrations. But it doesn't. So clearly, it doesn't put its best foot forward.
No.
But the RPG elements are like you make food and you eat it and you get health back, but you permanently get stat buffs for the first time you eat stuff. Yes, didn't know this.
It doesn't explain it.
No. So this
When
is
does it
me
tell you
Googling.
this?
It doesn't. So this is me Googling it after the fact. Like, give me some tips for this game.
I'd
'cause
like
I
to
don't
just
know
talk about
anything.
tips.
Yeah.
I think modern technologies beat us. Because
Yeah.
there are tips on the load screens.
Yes, 100%.
To get a load screen, though, you have to die.
You have to die, but, which I was doing plenty of. However, because of modern technology, as Ben's saying, my Series S just loaded it too quickly and I couldn't read it. So I
Same
can't read the
story.
tips. Can't read the tips at all because I'm already back in the game,
Yeah.
which is great. But I don't know
You
what
have
I'm
to take
doing.
a screenshot.
Yeah. Yeah. So the RPG elements, I just thought weren't very well explained.
Yeah, because I felt like leveling up did nothing.
Yeah.
I
no,
felt
same.
like, I had like 3 more health with each level or something ridiculous like that. It's not enough to take an extra hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to keep going back to your base, which it doesn't. I suppose, like in hindsight, thinking back to it, it's like, yeah, it is a base and it's got people in there you can speak to. Of course,
Yeah.
you're supposed to go
If
back.
you've got the fast travel.
But
Yeah.
because I didn't find the fast travel, I didn't think
Oh.
you were supposed to.
No, same.
Because I'm not walking all the way
I thought
back
it was
there.
just a push on, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think at least it should have been like, here's a fast
Some
travel
information.
Do you know what this game would be set up really well to be? A roguelike.
Yeah.
Get as far in the castle as
I
you
had
can.
exactly that thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then start again and then get
Yeah.
stuff.
With
It
your
would have worked
buffs.
so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it had better combat.
Yeah.
And then it can
Yeah.
just be a very much Dead Cell like.
I mean, to be fair, we were very
now a
spoiled
different
by
area.
Dead Cells, I think.
Yeah, true.
Then go on to this.
I
But
think
again-
we're very spoiled with modern gaming because I think like a lot of
This
old
is
school
a modern
gaming-
game.
It is. It
No, but
is,
it's
but
made to emulate classic games.
Yeah, it's made to emulate Symphony of the
Yeah.
Night.
I just feel like
essentially.
they didn't. You can pay homage to an old game and also
Yes.
implement a lot of new stuff. I feel like they
Definitely.
didn't, which works really well for the people, like the hardcore people, but it doesn't work at all for people who might want to be new fans. This has always actually put me off, like Castlevania
Metroidvanias.
games. Well, Castlevania games.
Oh, okay.
Because
I've
I think
always thought they looked interesting, but
I thought I would like it because I like Metroidvanias. I like a specific Metroidvania, I suppose. I really like Ori. I liked Hollow Knight. I didn't finish it because I'm not that good. But I like those sorts of Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
But this is definitely not that.
no.
It works against the player a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you guys think to the story?
There was a
Well,
story.
what the story is basically Richter versus Dracula in
Yeah.
Castlevania.
Yeah.
And then you come back as another person and you go fight Super Dracula.
So I thought, at first when it started, I thought, okay, this is quite interesting. Where it lost me was when I found out the antagonist's name, because I think the least threatening name in existence is Jeeble.
I think it was meant to be like Gable,
But they said it Jeeble.
but they say it like Gable. Yeah.
Gable.
Actually, that brings me on to something that I don't know if you class it as gameplay or art direction. I wish it wasn't fully voiced. Like back when I was in GBA era games, I was like, "Oh, I wish this would be voiced," but I was reading it quicker than they were saying it.
I agree.
too many
However,
times.
the voice acting was probably the only thing I can actually say is a positive. I thought it was quite good.
It is good.
I'm on the other side with that because I'm just terrible at reading through things. I just end up blasting it because I get bored. I know that
That's
sounds
fine.
stupid.
I
And,
just
and I
read it.
like voice acting. I think it plays great in games.
It is annoying when it's slower than what you're reading, but at least you could skip.
Yeah.
I can't read that fast.
Which
No, but if you're not reading it, you can just skip.
You know,
you're not.
Yeah.
forced.
Yeah,
The problem is when it's fully voiced and you're skipping it, it's like sounds like a sim.
Yeah. I just lost interest very quickly. About halfway through my playthrough of the game, I just started skipping through all the new dialogue,
Yeah.
which I didn't even realize I was doing.
Oh.
I beat that samurai guy, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just skipping through all this. I didn't even know what was going on." But fair enough. But it wasn't. It was okay.
It was fine.
It was an alright setup,
yeah.
but I just wasn't in. I think playing the game made me less interested because it was so slow. It was weirdly slow to introduce loads of things, but then it didn't tell you how to actually
Do any of
do
them.
any of the game.
No, I resorted to shooting.
There is a
those
gun.
are-
That was the weapons I chose. I
It's
shot.
so weak though.
Yes.
It is. It's terrible.
And there's
Well-
no hit zone. Like if you hit him in the head, it doesn't kill him faster than if you hit him in the foot.
Yeah.
It did with the octopus lady. You had to get
did it?
jump. If you got a jump and you hit her in the face or anything like that, you did a little bit more damage.
I just tanned a claymore in the stomach on that
I
day.
had like,
Good enough.
I think it's a Morning Star or something like that.
Oh yeah,
I
that's a
ended
really
up-
good weapon.
Yeah, I got
Does
that
2
in
types
the
of damage.
Yeah, it was bad.
I just couldn't get near anything because she just didn't react to anything. She just stood there going, "No, no, no."
Yeah.
It's quite a good impression. I'm gonna lie.
It's just not and you stood in an animation.
Yeah.
It's just
They just need to take out the really old fashioned. If the enemy touches you, you take massive damage.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like because you can be stuck between two enemies and get ping ponged, and there's no refresh before you get hit. You just get bounced around.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's very
Especially with those jellyfish when there's
very
like 3 of
almost-
them on screen.
weirdly robotic.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about sound design? I think that's probably my last criticism. I've ticked off all my rants. In my,
Other than the constant voice being tied to animation,
Yeah.
which I don't think it should be. It should be like every other or every third or fourth or whatever. Because everyone would be out of breath if they yelled that many times during a fight.
Definitely. I actually like the music.
I like the music. The music's really good.
I like the music too.
And the music is very
that.
Castlevania-esque. Some absolute bangers were going on in the background as I was stumbling through the castle.
Like that, the one thing that was in my head after I finished it was that soundtrack in the castle.
I didn't like it.
I thought it was just very. I'm not surprised. It was just very classic but new.
Yeah, maybe because of the fact that I didn't like any other part of it. I just found it a bit just annoying, grating, old-fashioned. Didn't feel new in any way.
Yeah.
Says the baby in the room.
Yeah.
It is quite grandiose.
Yeah,
I'll give it that. But you're in a castle, man, a massive castle.
It just reminded me of like Phantom of the Opera, like ding, ding, ding,
but
ding,
I think,
ding.
Yeah,
like
that plays to the
theme strengths. It does.
I feel like that should have been exactly what it was.
And also, doesn't the main antagonist wear a half face mask?
You probably not wrong. I just didn't like
good old Geeble.
I think I didn't like any other part of it. I think it just really soured me on everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the story. Yeah. The rest of the game soured me on the story. Yeah. I wasn't enjoying it. But go on, Joe, though. You probably have more aspects to pick at or talk about.
I don't think we've covered like the main things I would have said about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to give some positives? Because Brad's bummed us out. No, we've all bummed us out, to be fair. We've all bummed us out.
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
I think I expected different to what I got. This might be why I stopped playing it on Switch the first time. Yeah. It might not have been because, I was just a holiday game. I think it was because it was hard to get into.
Yeah.
It's not accessible at all.
It was exactly as you say, just wasn't what I expected it to be.
I'm not ready for real Castlevania. Give me baby Castlevania.
Yeah. Well, more interesting.
Give me something between the TV show and this.
Yes.
And I'll be on board with it.
A modern Castlevania.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I watched some gameplay later in the game and it looks a lot more fast paced. Now, don't know why.
How late is that though?
I don't know, because you get a dash, you get a double jump.
Yeah.
You get you get you can obviously swim because that's probably a Metroidvania bit.
Yeah.
To be able to learn how to swim.
Yeah, because there is actually a shortcut in the blood pond.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
You can't do.
Because I've noticed that you could go down, but it doesn't let you. And then there's a lot of as you were saying, familiars and summons, and you can get things floating around you, and there's
maybe the melee is the worst aspect of the combat, but it's not meant to be your main damage.
Yeah, because you get a lot of spells, which all are pretty cool, but you can't combo them into anything. You also get layouts, I'm going to say.
Yes.
So you can
loadouts.
Layouts. You get loadouts. You can change loadouts on the fly, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. It was really good.
More stuff sooner.
I played for a good couple hours, might have been 3 hours. And the game's not supposed to be that long.
I think it was 14 hours when I checked.
Yeah. So I've played, a quarter of the game-ish? Maybe not quite.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've just not... Nothing's changed since the beginning.
Yeah.
I've not found anything. If I'd found something, then I'd be thinking... I've just unlocked this ability to double jump, for example. I know I'm going to get something else later. But I got the impression, as Joe said at the beginning, there's no Metroid elements to it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there is.
There is.
But later.
You just get them later, yeah.
So, shall we do the recommendations?
On the 13th hour of 14 hours.
Yeah.
Do you want to move to
Still on that samurai guy.
Joe?
I'd like to move on to recommendations, but only with the fact that I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
I wouldn't recommend my own game, guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
I'm actually
Sometimes it happens.
Because I hate it. I did genuinely hate it when, not this game, but kind of, when Ben picked Sea of Thieves and he was buzzing about it and obviously he recommended it and then I didn't. Made me feel bad.
Yeah, same.
So I'm glad that you're saying you don't recommend it. If you came out here saying you loved it.
No, when you first said you've got rants about this, I'm like, I want to hear these. I want to see if they match my thoughts. And they do.
Good.
Spot on.
Yeah.
I don't know how old the game is. It's
2019,
5 years, I think it said.
Yeah.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. That's late to not have the quality of life that we've been used to in other 2D platformers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, had Ori 2 come out by then? Maybe not, but at least Ori 1 had.
Yeah.
Ori 1 had, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that had problems, like the save problem, but
it did.
It was still implemented significantly better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Hollow Knight works the same way. You find benches and stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of those, though. But these save rooms seem to be quite sparse.
Yeah. Like Hollow Knight's Souls-like. So you go with that to get your money and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that would have fixed a lot of the problems.
It really would have. Would have. Yeah.
I think jumping off the back of that, Joe, like, I think no one's going to be surprised to say I don't recommend it. However, if you do have a massive nostalgia for the original Castlevania games and you want to pick something like that up
with updated visuals,
then I probably can. Yeah. I can recommend it to that type of person and see if I don't know what the old Castlevanias are like. I'm led to believe this is they're like this. So if you like them, this is probably going to be for you. And if you don't click with it, then that's fine. Just bounce off it.
Yeah,
it's on Game Pass. But generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend it to like anyone I know, like the average Joe.
Yeah.
I'm Joe,
and I wouldn't recommend
it. You're not average Joe.
No, I'm Garnish Joe.
Yeah, well, from my point of view, pretty much the same as Brad there. I couldn't put anybody through it.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot
is.
to get on with.
I can see the hardcore fans' point of views with it, how they loved it, how it worked for them, how following it all from the early days, and I get it. It's just definitely not me.
Because this was like a really big community push to get this game out, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah,
when it first came out.
Yeah, because it's made by the Symphony of the Night guy.
Yeah.
So people who love that probably will love this, and that's
glad
probably why it's got good reviews.
Yeah. I'm glad it exists
because they love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we close out on the recommendations, I do wonder though, because at the start you can pick a different character.
I thought this. Does it make a difference?
I'm like, do they have all the abilities already that you would have unlocked throughout the game?
It just when you clicked them, it recommended you didn't play it.
Yeah, if you've not done it already, if you've not played through the game.
I think it makes it harder, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if it was like, this is the mode you go to if you've already played the game. So you've unlocked everything at the start.
Maybe
that
give
you
it a
used
go
to.
and come back to
it
us.
could.
Yeah.
I didn't read it. I read it as if it was saying like, this is
hard
like
mode,
a challenge mode.
Yeah,
okay.
But it could be that. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Because they do it in the Devil May Cry games. You can play as the weirder characters, but they don't go through the story the same. But the combat is vastly different. I was wondering if it would be like that, but you got all your movement that you would have unlocked, or your combos, or your spells, or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe.
I've had
in a Metroidvania, don't make a double jump and a dash part of the Metroidvania. Make them part of your standard kit.
You'd be surprised.
And unlock
Hollow Knight does
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
But it's a good game.
Well, you had to unlock Duck in Metroid.
That's true.
Yeah.
To become the ball.
Yeah. I think you're the only one who
What about you, Jake? Yeah.
Very much the same. What you said there, Brad, about only recommending it to the old school Castlevania fans. That is exactly what I was going to say. Basically, I'd written it down. So I can't recommend it to most people.
Play it on mute.
Definitely play it on mute if you're going to play it. No, because the music's all right. The music's good.
The music's good.
Just see if you can go in the settings and turn her down.
Turn off SFX.
Yeah. So I can't recommend it, unfortunately. I don't know if I'm just spoiled on modern games, and going back to something like this that plays very classic is just too much for me personally. But if you really like those classic games and that's all you play, this is a new one.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
But
Joe, you've got him ahead.
Didn't like it.
How?
Joe, you've got him. You said Devil May Cry. Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Next Backlog game.
If you want to play a good game, Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It is.
That I can recommend.
Yeah.
So it's the wheel next, isn't it?
Community.
It's the community game.
It is indeed.
Are we spinning it this episode?
I think we should.
I think we should.
So we've had a few new.
Thank you very much for everybody who's written in and added more. I think we've got more on the list now than we did when we started, so that's really cool. Even though we've done a few.
back to Damon. Stop trying to add more. You can have one.
Yes, one.
Yeah, we are saying, because we've got quite a few on there now, we want everyone to get their game picked, so we are limiting it to one per user. Well, listener. However, if your game gets picked, feel free to add another one. We're okay with that, but we just don't want too many of the same person, because someone could pick 5 and then they're gonna get picked, aren't they? So
definitely.
So yeah, right. Shall we give it a spin? Here we go.
Give it a spin.
Spin.
There we go.
Spinning.
I tap on the desk, but it'll just be really bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh, nice.
That's not a bad Christmas game.
Is it the Ishin or is it the new one?
It's not the brand new one, but it's the one with the new protagonist.
Okay.
Spiky hair dude.
Is that when it's
Afro
turn-based?
Yeah.
Yes, it's turn-based.
Okay.
It's by Martin as well, so thanks, Martin, for picking that. And we'll get on that.
I've always wanted to play.
I've always wanted to give a Yakuza game.
It's way too daunting. There's too many. So I'm glad we're playing it in this capacity and not personal choice where I then feel like I've got to play all of them to understand what's
I don't think
on.
They're long games. So
they are. From what I've heard, they are.
I thought it was just they are what you make of them.
I think they're still meant to be pretty long for the campaigns. Yeah,
okay.
About 40 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa!
But then you can put hundreds in each one.
Do we need to talk about the messy nature of our releasing and stuff over Christmas? What we're actually doing?
Yes, we probably should. So this episode comes out probably a couple of days after the Game Awards.
Yes.
Sorry, we're not doing the Game Awards right now, but we are planning to do a week later. Hopefully,
fingers crossed,
we can release the Game Awards episode, and then
we're not 2 weeks out of date. We're just
1 week out of date instead. Now we're also planning to do our top 10 games of the year this time instead of 5. So whether that's part of the same episode, we haven't decided yet, but it'll come out before New Year.
Yeah,
and then I think we're going to take a bit of a longer break than normal. But we will keep everyone informed on our socials.
But it also means the game's going to get a bit longer for us this time round, isn't it?
Yeah, the community game. We'll get more time on it.
I think
there you go, Martin.
Lucky draw. Need it over Christmas.
Yeah. So, that's it. And hope you enjoy.
Right, take us out, Joe.
So, we've been Gaming Garnish. I've been your host, Joe. Joined by Jake.
Bye-bye.
Brad.
Individuals. Goodbye.
And Ben.
Bye-bye now.
And we'll see you again next time.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.